Hello and welcome back to Excel Skills for HR. This is Module 3, where we're going to talk about some formatting. We're also going to talk about conditional formatting and then some drop downs and lists and how to create those in Excel. So first, let's take a look at some cell formatting and how we can format our cells. And we want to do this for a various number of reasons. If you're trying to highlight various cells or take note of certain cells, things like that. So really easy to do. Again, Microsoft Office products are all very similar in their formatting applications. So in order to format a cell, make sure that you've clicked on that particular cell. There are all sorts of different types of formatting that you can do. So, for example, your fill is up here under the font menu. So we're on the Home tab up here on the top, and the font menu here. If you want to change your font, all the fonts are listed here. The font size, and of course you can increase and decrease the font sizes there. The fill is here. You can have all sorts of preset colors. If you need different other colors, you can come here again, just like any other Microsoft Excel or Office product. Another thing is text. You can change the color of the text. So if we wanted to highlight, these rows in the gender column, we can just click that button, and again we can change that color as well. So we're going to change that back to black. And that's pretty much cell formatting. The alignment of your cells is all here in the alignment menu. If you click on this little arrow, it will give you the full menu for formatting cells. And what you can see here is that you can change the type of format that the cell has or that the text has within the cell. So let's say I'm going to cancel this and click on an actual number and then come back to the formatting cells menu or pop-up box. So if we click on number here, that's already saved as a number, but let's say we wanted to, instead of age, that was some sort of dollar amount, we could click here on currency and that would give us our dollar sign there. We're going to click on this again and turn that back to number, but you can change it to a date or a time or a percentage as well. Percentages are often used in things like compa ratios and things like that. We typically fractions are used as well. Scientific hardly ever used, but sometimes. So you can see all the different categories that they have there, and then you can of course do custom type of format as well. We're going to change that back to number for now and hit OK. And then we're going to come to the alignment tab. And again, if I click on any of these formatting pop-up boxes here, so if I click on alignment, that gives us the format cells box. If I click on number, that gives us the same. It just depends on the tab on the top here that you can see when you click on that pop-up. So if we go to alignment, we can see the general alignment of the text. So horizontal, you can do centering, vertically as well. You can center things there. This is where you can change the angle of the text. You can do it to a whole degree. So if we wanted to change the text by 11 degrees, for example, we can just type in 11 there or use the arrow keys to get to 11. We're going to go to 0 right now, though. Leave it. Wrap text, I showed you how to do that earlier. The quick key is up here, or the quick button is up here, merging and center here, but if you do need to do other things, you can do them here in this menu. Your font, we covered that over here. If you need to strike through superscript or subscript, that's also in this menu. Your borders and fills, I touched briefly on this in a previous module. But basically, you come here to draw around the boxes that you have selected. So in this case, let's select, red pen. And really what you want to do, the key here is to make sure that you select your pen color first, because if let's say we go through and this is selected, the blue is selected, and we go through and we draw kind of the borders that we want, and then we come back here and select red, those borders are going to be blue. We've got to change them first, the color first, and then we go back and we paint the borders. So just make sure that you do that first. So I'm going to just do four sides of that cell there. The fill is here as well. So if you can't find the color up here in the fill, you can find it down here. There are more colors here as well, and then fill effects you get here too. So if you want to have it, horizontal shading with blue and white, you can do that and make things look as pretty as you want. This is interesting too. Before when we talked a little bit about protecting the worksheet, it asked you about what you wanted to do with cells in terms of locked or hidden cells. This means that when the worksheet is protected, meaning you put a password on it, this cell will be locked, and meaning that no one will be able to access or change the value in the cell. This is really helpful when you're passing things back and forth, and for example you've created a dashboard using HRMS data, and you don't want people to mess with kind of the rows and columns and things that you have formulas typed into. I've seen it so many times where people will, you'll send out a dashboard and people will say, well, it's broken, and the reason why is because they've somehow inadvertently, unintentionally messed with the formula in the cell. So oftentimes you'll want to lock those cells down. So if we hit OK, all of those changes that I just made will take place. You can see our red border, it's centered, it's got the blue and white shading there as well. So I'm just going to hit Control Z and undo that, so we're back to where we started, and we will go from there. The other type of formatting that I want to mention is conditional formatting. This is really, really helpful when we do things like heat maps and dashboards. And so conditional formatting is actually a very cool feature within Excel. And what it does is you specify the conditions that need to be met in order for a specific type of formatting to occur. So let's say that we want to highlight any cells in our most recent performance rating column, not the whole column, we'll just use the first several employees that are a 1, right? So the lowest rating. So we want to say highlight cells rules, and we want to say equal to, and it's going to bring up format cells that are equal to, we're going to say 1 with light red fill with dark red text. Hit OK. The reason why is because our cell here was highlighted. So before you do that, you need to highlight the cells that you want it to look at. So we've highlighted those cells. We're going to do conditional formatting, highlight cells rules, equal to anything that is equal to 1, and hit OK. And we can see that it highlighted those two that were equal to 1. Now, we can do this, you can do multiple conditional formatting for the same types of, or the same range of cells. So let's say we want to format cells that are equal to, let's see, 5 as, instead of light red fill, we're going to do green fill with dark green text, because as you remember in the PowerPoint, we said that the highest score was a 5, so we're going to highlight that there, and you can see that that turned that color. The other cool thing, and I'm going to Control Z both of those so that we're back to the beginning. The other cool thing about conditional formatting is that it will allow you to do a bit of a heat map. So color scales, if you come down to color scales and you highlight any of these, what this is going to do, it's going to start at the highest number. You can see that's highlighted green all the way down to red. If you wanted to reverse that, so let's say that the rating scale was backwards and the 5 was bad and 1 was good, and we highlighted, if we could highlight here as well, and it will give you kind of a heat map for how you're doing, and so it will highlight the different colors going from red to green. So very, very helpful in terms of easy formatting, so you don't have to hunt and peck for all the different numbers. You can just very easily find them. Excel will find them for you, and will highlight them for you. I'm going to undo that. Conditional formatting also, you can do icon sets, so you can do, a stoplight type icons, so red, yellow, green. You can do up arrows, down arrows, all these types of indicators, check boxes and X's, and these are all really, really helpful. One of my favorites is these Harvey Balls here, so you can see the ones are open, 2 is a quarter, 3 is halfway, 4 is 3/4, and then our 5 down here is a full circle. So it's just very cool things you can do with conditional formatting. I suggest that you go in and play around with it, because it can be a pretty powerful tool when you're talking about data analysis and how you tell that story with data, because when you're presenting to executives and things, the last thing they want to do is have to look for all the ones or look for all the fives. It makes things very much easier to do when you're looking at a big data set, so that you can draw their attention to the right things and tell the story that you want to tell.